You said in one of your recent interviews, you talked about self-control. You said the hardest thing to do is keep your drawers up.
That's the hardest thing to do. And I stand by them words. The hardest thing you do
is keep your drawers up.
Yes. The only thing that could potentially tear you down, even if you look at throughout boardrooms across America and churches, the only thing that you normally see that tears a really great leader down is their flesh.
Yes, it does.
So when we say stuff like "keep your drawers up," it is what it is.
Yeah.
Don't fall victim, and don't allow the enemy to get you to a place where you're vulnerable. Paul says this in the Bible. He says, "I beat my body, make it my slave, so that when I preach to others, that I won't be disqualified from the prize." Translation to modern day is, my flesh doesn't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I keep my body under control, and I don't give in to the desires of the flesh.
Yeah.
And there are some people that are listening that are extremely gifted. Your only downfall would be to give into your flesh.
Yeah.
And so we have to learn how to stay in the spirit, to find outlets so we don't fall victim into the flesh and go down the drain. It is the enemy's desire to get us to fall, especially when greatness is in you.
Yeah.
He wants you to fall, and he wants you to fall majorly just so people can say you weren't true, you weren't authentic.
Yeah.
So your biggest challenge is to keep your drawers up.
Keep your drawers up.
Absolutely.
How hard is that to teach that message in this day and age? Because with all the culture, and the outside world that we are inundated with, and especially with what we have at our fingertips every single time we pick up our phone, we can go to any place.
Yes.
We can be enticed in any way we want to. And so when you talk about bringing this hope to this new generation, how are you teaching them different ways of how to keep their drawers up, how to not entice and put themselves in very precarious situations?
Well, I tell them that there's some things they have to shut off. This is the generation we're in now. Like you said, they have all access to everything.
Yeah.
My son, who is 11, and my other son, who is 10, they have phones, but they have phones because they play soccer, and we want to make sure when they're done with practice, let us know. We'll be right there for emergencies.
Yeah.
Okay. But they still have access.
Yeah.
Access that we didn't have when we were growing up.
Yeah.
So even when you look at television, you can't even buy a refrigerator without somebody kissing and touching just to sell the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So we live in this hyper-sexualized era
Yeah.
that everything is centered around flesh and touching and kissing. So it's being constantly promoted. So what I tell them is, hey, sometimes you got to shut your devices down for a day. Sometimes you might have to shut in. You might have to fast. You might have to turn down your plate so that your flesh man is not outgrowing your spirit man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your flesh man is not growing you're outgrowing your spirit man.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing that I deal with a lot with our younger people is they think it's cool to date multiple people.
Oh, let's talk about it, Pastor. Let's do it.
And I remind them that there are also multiple diseases as well. And so while you're out there thinking that you have all this time to experiment, all this time that you want to do, all this time to date him or date her, back and forth, you really don't. Meanwhile, the enemy is trying to take your body and steal your body and rob you and connect you with somebody you shouldn't be connected to. And while we're here, Brandi, let's go right in there and talk about soul ties.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are in multiple relationships because our soul is connected with multiple people. They may not even look good, but because your soul is connected with the last demon and this new person has a very familiar spirit as the other one, you're now in an entanglement with the demonic, that you can't get out of unless you get delivered.
Pastor, I feel like I encountered some demons along the way.
We all have. We all have.
I feel like I done encountered some. Okay, so I really want, because we hear a lot about soul ties. Everybody has a podcast and has these conversations about soul ties. But I really want you to talk to the audience of, how are you really getting that soul tie? How is it really happening? And how do you tell somebody how to steer clear of it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's important to say that everybody that kisses you and hugs you doesn't love you. A lot of people think that because you hugged me or kissed me or took me out or you held my hand, that we're in some sort of partnership and
Yeah.
that we're in some sort of covenant, when there's some people that just like physical touch.
Yeah.
But the way you stay clear of that is to be very discerning and mindful of the person that you get connected with. I'm going to say something that seems real spiritual, but it's going to make a lot of sense. Sometimes you have to look past people and see the spirit that's operating in them. If you can see the spirit that's operating them, then God will bring you awareness in along the lines of your discernment to let you know this is for you or this isn't for you. Here's another thing we do often is we lower our standards because we're lonely. And because we have a temporary fulfillment that needs to get that we feel like it needs to get met, we connect with somebody not with the intentions of a long-term relationship,
Yeah.
but for a temporary satisfaction, only to find out that that temporary satisfaction turned into 5 years of hell.
I mean, some of y'all didn't just wanted company, and now you got a baby. Somebody just wanted company,
Right.
And now they entrapped.
Right, entrapped, and connected with somebody the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because you could not tell your flesh no.